Okay, great. So we are here today playing the demo, which is going to be a world premiere for folks to play. It's going to be premiered, like, to look at as part of Day the Devs on June the 8th. We're before June the 8th now, right now, so we're a little bit excited about that. And then thereafter, it is going to be available as part of Steam Next Fest for people to actually play. And not only is it a world premiere in both those terms, but it's also a Sharna premiere today, because Sharna, you haven't actually seen the demo that we're going to be sort of showing to the public. You know the game. You've helped us make
very well.
but you don't know what people are sort of specifically going to be seeing as they play the demo. So this is a little Sharna premiere as well, which we'll be playing and streaming as part of Steam Next Fest, which we are really excited to be a part of. Before I sort of go ahead and give it a play, I wonder if you just want to give yourself a little introduction to the lovely folks who may be watching us.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. So I'm Sharna Jackson, and I've been part of the writers' room on Saltsea Chronicles since the beginning. So for a good few years now, and it's been an incredible process and a really great game. I can't wait to see the demo. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah.
So thrilled. I'm like, oh.
Thank you so much, Sharna. And just for those out there who don't know me, I'm Hannah Nicklin. I'm the creative director on Saltsea Chronicles, and I run the studio Die Gute Fabrik, and we are what I've made it. Sorry. Whenever I start saying that we made, I think of what is it, Eric and Idle, who the play What I Wrote that's about. Anyway. Yes. Apologies to all audiences from outside of the UK. Occasionally we will fall over into UK isms, although our team is pretty widely sort of from around the world. Sharna is with us from Rotterdam, where you live, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we've got folks from the UK, but we've also got folks from, I think, 12 different countries who work with the studio. But anyway, me talking over the Saltsea Chronicles floating demo screen is maybe not the most exciting thing. So let's just click through and start playing, and we can sort of talk about individuals' contributions and stuff as we go, rather than me explaining stuff while we just look at a plain screen. So we are dropping the players in this demo into chapter 4. Now, there are obviously 3 previous chapters and many more thereafter, so we needed to produce this screen, which is just a couple of screens which is just going to catch you up. So previously in Saltsea Chronicles, the crew of the DeKelpie discover that their captain Maya has gone missing, and they set out to recover her. Was she kidnapped, or is something else going on? Something else is going on, strangers. So Los Gatos is where you're going in this chapter, but you might enjoy knowing that there are 3 different locations that you can go to depending on decisions that you've made previously in chapters 1 to 3. So there are 2 other chapter 4s that you might have the opportunity to play. In this one, though, you're going to Los Gatos. It's the home community of one of your crew members, Stu. Whisperings on the radio suggest a mysterious indigo-sailed ship associated with disappearances was sighted here. What will you discover? There we go. I've got this super lovely little splash screen. So a lot of the game is definitely shaped around kind of TV-style storytelling. Like, we're being influenced by things like, long-running TV shows like Star Trek, or like Avatar: The Last Airbender is a big influence on our storytelling as well. So that's why we're sort of using some of that language in how we sort of, credit screen splash at the beginning there. But we've arrived on the boat. So we set out to Los Gatos and have arrived sort of overnight. And we sort of start out on the boat here. And as we can see, there's lots of little interactions we can have. We can have a look at things, and those will produce these sort of little snappy, we call them interjections. Can try real hard to not use like our internal development language, which could be a little bit opaque. But yeah, so the sort of little kind of little thing that you notice, which is sort of about kind of where you've landed here, Los Gatos. Obviously using quite cat-influenced language there. I wonder why they say it's almost like a purr. Will we find out? Sani is this character here in the lovely, very sort of natty kind of red brass buttoned thing. So let's have a little chat with Sani. So Sani is doing her morning stretches. I don't. Should I reading out all of the lines and do accidental?
Oh no, let me get involved because I'm.
Do you want to? We'll try this for at least one and see how it goes down.
Yeah.
Do you want to be Merle or Sani?
Sure. Yes, either.
I'm gonna be Merle. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, and I'll also be the narrator. There we go. Sani is doing her morning stretches. Merle wanders over from the helm, enjoying the morning sun. Interesting technique. Are you applying specific calisthenic principles?
I'm stretching.
Yes, but what school do you follow? I myself have developed my own regime of exercises to prioritize muscular health. Sani blinks at Merle. The conversation piques Neshko's interest. Oh my god, Neshko's gone. I guess I should be Neshko.
My back's been bothering me for a few nights now.
I think you might call this a failed experiment already. There's like a slight delay on the line, which is making this the slowest dialogue ever experienced.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's so funny.
Sorry, Sharna.
No, you go on. No, you go on.
I was just gonna say that one of the things about this game is that it's an ensemble cast story, and we immediately outcast ourselves as three characters come in, and this sort of and the narrator has this voice in the story actions as well, which is our word for conversations. But Sharna, what were you saying?
No, I was saying actually it was a bit of a funny coincidence. I was in Los Gatos today, and I was reading this lovely exchange and laughing at cat cow opposite of cat. So it's very nice to see it so quickly the demo.
Well, obviously we are a group of writers who have contributed to this thing, tons of people, right? But that one joke is one that I script edited in, and I'm really proud of it, because I was like, I was injecting lots of sports terminology to this one, because I think I'm one of the few people on the sort of writers room team who are like really sporty. What not that no one. I'm exceptionally sporty. I'm like annoying levels of sporty. I'm not like a normal sporty. And in that, and I was just like, I'm gonna put some extra sport language in here, and I'll have like, you know, Sani call it a cat cow, which, you know, isn't that sporty. Everyone knows some basic yoga poses. I was like, our world doesn't have cows. Like Saltsea Chronicles doesn't have cows, and therefore it's pretty funny, I think, to have someone say what's a cow, and I guess the opposite of a cat because it is a yoga. Right? I was really proud of that one when I edited that in.
Yeah, you did a good job there. You did a really good job. I was just laughing and laughing.
But to be clear, everyone who worked in the writers' room contributed to the whole of the game, and just because that one joke was written by me, I want to emphasize that. Another thing that just happened is that we had an interaction and a few more opened up. So in the game, you will experience sort of time exists, so time can move forwards and some old interactions will be replaced by new ones. But in this context, there are also sort of conversations hidden behind conversations in single time space as well. Neshko hasn't seen a cat before, so is a bit freaked out by the noises that they make. Neshko is a funny character in the game. He sort of came on at the end of chapter 1 and sort of almost like low-key blackmailed his way on board, right?
Pretty much. He did.
But they've grown to sort of be comfortable with him, and like there's the sense that he blackmailed his way on board just because he really had to get off the first island, and he just didn't feel like he had another choice. So it doesn't feel like a baddie, just feels like a bit of an oddball, right?
Absolutely, yeah, it's just a little bit.
Right, so is Neshko a cat person or a bird person?
Well, he is I know him very well, and he is a bird person. And in fact, I don't want to give you any spoilers. I just want to tell you all the game, but yes, he is a bird person.
We're going to select bird person, but this is another lovely chance to say that one of the things we've done really intentionally is in allowing you to play as an ensemble. And in the moment on the boat, you're just sort of chatting, as you like to members of the crew. In a moment, we're going to pick who we want to explore with, which is another thing that we do. But the choices, they also are actually quite opaque about who might be the person who's talking if you select cat person and you select bird person. So part of the pleasure of playing with this ensemble cast is that they are their own. They have agency, which your agency sort of explores but doesn't change, if that makes sense. Like, that's like really important to us, is that these characters are like themselves as well. But if cats had feathers, I'd understand, but the fluff gets. Oh yeah, Mel has a lot of allergies. I'm wondering how far in infamy my impression of Mel will go down. Mulpaid Iris now. So Iris is acting a little suspiciously. And I'm not going to sort of ruin that. It's a little surprise, because the surprise comes in chapter 5. But in chapter 4, this sort of suspiciousness is beginning to be sort of understood by the characters around them. And it's Stu's home. So Stu is definitely going to be the person around whom this chapter is shaped. So you'll explore definitely with Stu, but in a moment we will have a little chat as a crew and work out who else is interested in going. Oh god, there are more. Ade is Mulpay's little baby, and the system has, I guess, like a gender trinary system. In that all children are they them until they sort of come of age, and then they can choose they, he, she. One important thing to say is that just because you can choose in a different way to our world doesn't mean that system of gender doesn't still produce problems for people, right? So like we're sort of interested in not taking a bunch of assumptions into our world building, but just because new assumptions are built in doesn't mean that those assumptions fit everyone, right? And we've got a number of sort of non-binary and trans team members across the whole game, in fact, but also in the writers' room, who've sort of really, really shaped the theory at the heart of that. I don't know if theory is the right word, but yeah. All right. So at the beginning of sort of like the next stage of the game, so we've just sort of checked in with everyone on the boat, and now we're going to sort of move time forwards and have an explore of the island. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to sort of chat as a crew and work out, what's going on, what are our aims, and who's interested in being part of the expedition. I was just implementing these people noises.
I was just about to say the emotes sound lovely, and a little bit of backstage gossip is that I was involved in the recording of the emotes.
Oh yeah.
So it was very interesting for my family to hear me for a week going for 8 hours, or hear it coming from the office. So that was lots of fun.
You did an incredible job as well.
Thank you.
And I was worried about that run of sounds, that maybe it could be a little bit overwhelming, but that felt really right, because it was a little comedic moment where everyone's going,
it's good.
Oh, this and that and this and that. I don't know if people want to hear us feel pleased with our game.
Yeah, sorry.
We're really proud.
Okay, but I'd like to. I'm so proud of it. And one part I'm particularly proud of is, well, all of it, but the Kelpie, the ship that the crew live on, work on, a vital part of the story. And I live on a boat, so it was really interesting to me to think about what that meant and how we could translate some of the experience of living together in tight, cramped spaces. So yeah, that's been lots of fun. Yeah.
Live from
but
the
now
waters
we're getting
of
off the boat.
the Netherlands. Yeah, so actually this is a cool thing. So what we have here is that two people have said that they don't really want to go. Iris being a bit shady right now. You can quickly just so moving left on the stick here, although you may be playing on keyboard, in which case you just click keyboard and mouse rather. Quickly shows you different information about each of the characters, and you can have sort of a narrator style comment which just sort of summarizes what came out of that last conversation. You could have a quote from them, and you can have a quick look at what languages they speak in case that's going to play out interestingly on the community you're about to visit. In this case, Neshko's still being moody and mysterious, and is a fan of birds, and so is probably just not going to enjoy the cats a ton. Iris being super shady. We'll find out next chapter. Please buy the game when it comes out. Sani, however, Molpe and Merle, as you can see that they're not grayed out, they are interested in going. So Merle is interested in the sort of community, the cat-based culture. Merle is like a historian and ethnographer, so sometimes that gets in the way of him being a person as much as he should be. And he speaks a really useless language, which is this sort of super historical language called Old Tongue. Molpe is really sort of good old friends with Stu and is sort of eager to see her friends all home. But the person who's gone missing, who you're all searching for this like mystery of the missing captain, Maya, is actually Molpe's partner. So Molpe is one of the more driven members of the crew in terms of like really finding out who has done something to her partner, as right about now is kind of what you think is going on. I'm doing too much talking. Sharna, do you want to introduce Sani?
Yeah, so Sani is our game. So Sani has come from an island. We pick Sani up, let's say. We pick her up from an interesting island with a very interesting heritage. So she was born into, let's say, a hospitality position. So she is very, very customer service driven, almost, if you will. She's very eager to please and prove herself as being worthy, and she is super athletic. And I think Hannah always referred to her as a jock. She had jock energy, and that's something that we like to build in.
I think we turned to like Herbo as in himbo after a while. And Shauna's been very good about spoilers there, but I do want to just spoil a little bit more about the community that she comes from. So it comes from a community which is built on an upside down cruise ship, which was stranded in the time of the flood, which is this big disaster which sort of changed the world. Like before which they don't have much sort of knowledge of what went on and how society was organized. And as generations have passed down through the cruise ship, the book of like rules and regulations for the cruise company has sort of become a semi like an important societal text. I'm not going to say that it's religious in those kinds of terms, but they organize their ship still with these sort of titles. And Sani has no place in this ship, really. Like, is a bit of a klutz, like isn't really interested in radio, which is the main thing that they do there, and isn't a skilled at anything in particular, and so they make her the steward, which is just this sort of person who has to welcome visitors, and they very rarely get visitors, so that gives you a sense of Sani. But Sani is also really lovely, really, really good person,
very lovely,
really like Sani. So okay, who are we exploring with? Merle, Molpe, or Sani?
Sani.
I always choose Sani. It's interesting. When I test it, my instinct is always to go to Sani. So we're on this island. Look at all these gorgeous cats. Look at this incredible animation. So one thing you can do on controller is that you can use the shoulder buttons on your controller just to quickly navigate around a space. And as you can see, unlike sort of a lot of adventure games, the way that you navigate is this sort of node-based system. One of the things I like to say it's not a very good joke. It's just it's kind of a thing that I say, is that we've done away with the kind of walk of shame in adventure games. So say I sort of get to this end of the island community, and I realize that I need something at the other end of the island in order to sort of move time forwards, to move the mystery forwards, and I've missed it. There's no sense of missing things in our game because there's just a couple of taps and you're just quickly back at the sort of beginning of the island. So it's this super lightweight exploration system that we're really proud of, and kudos to all of our programmers, and kudos as also to the incredible art and animation team who have really brought Los Gatos to life. I don't know, like, Sharna, I'm going to click through a few story actions, but I don't know if you want to talk about the process of how we invented places and how they were then sort of turned into reality by the art department.
Yeah, totally. So when Hannah recruited us for the project, there were 4 writers, and we spent, I think, a good 3 or 4 months, maybe even 5, thinking about or fleshing out her initial ideas and thoughts about what a world could look like post-flood. So we spent a lot of time, building those up and thinking about all the different communities you might find in a situation like that, and in a world that's not Earth, but it has kind of some similarities. So we took all of those, and then we went through a period of like really kind of pitching them and like building them up more, and like really delving into what it would mean to live in this place and who your neighbors are, and how you get along with the other people on your island. So Los Gatos, comes from the Spanish cats. So it's an island that there are lots of cats there, but it's more than that. It's also a place that's very it's a women-led island, and actually lots of women go to Los Gatos if they're escaping some kinds of abuse. So it's an island. It's an island that's a sanctuary, actually. And if you're male in this island, actually, you have to be pretty cool to be able to be there. So it's it's a bit of a spin on like what it means to be a cat lady. And it's interesting that our crew member Stu is from there. Stu is, without being over-egging it, she is quite an inspiration. She's an inspiration to me. She's a woman who knows what she wants. She doesn't care about range, and she gets things done. So yes. Anyway, I'm going off. We on our places we would really work out what the place was, what it did, who might live there, and I would create these things called a place document, list it all out and go, okay, yes, it's got cats and a big bird here and things like that. Start thinking about it, and I would do a really embarrassing sketch of what I thought it might do. And then I would like slink it over on Slack to our art department, and they would be very generous and like obviously use that as a starting point for the brilliance that you see there. So it was a really collaborative process, and it was really like, I have never worked with a team the size of ours utterly remotely, and it worked so smoothly. And it was really nice the way we could come up with an idea in this department, pass it around to another, and have that cycle through all of us. It was really nice.
And we're saying that we're a team of, I mean, at our largest we've been a team of around 20, but it sort of obviously oscillates through different stages of the project. And just to sort of add to that, like a lot of that early sort of kind of thinking together was done in collaborative Google Docs. I'm a big fan of forms in providing yourself with restrictions to think through creatively in terms of like writing processes. So I think at the very beginning, I handed you over a bunch of like questions about the communities. It's like, fill out this form and invent a community by doing so, that kind of stuff. And then we blend, everyone was commenting on everyone else's ideas and saying, I love this. And like, what if we added this? And then sort of everything then sort of became, you pitched your ideas through the doc, but as people added to them, they became everyone's ideas. And then when we picked the few we wanted to include, it really felt like They sort of belong to everyone, which is a real credit to how like open and supportive the space that everyone made together was. And then I just want us to pause for a second, because Lady Flufflebutt is one of my favorite characters in the game, actually. And this is the cat that we're going to speak to here. Lady Flufflebutt is a little bit lonely. And that's one of the little minor things that you might want to investigate in the demo. Although I'm not sure if you can resolve it with it by the end of the demo. I think that you may need to wait until later on in the day, which isn't a part of the demo. But it's a really a good segue into one of the philosophies of the making of space for us. When we made up a place, it's really important to us that the places have agency as well. Just like a basic philosophy of making games, which is a design you do with the agency of a player, right? The designing of games. It feels really important to me when I tell stories that I say that agency isn't everything, or the agency of the player isn't everything, rather. That the islands have their own things going on. So you're going to go there. And this is super like why Avatar The Last Airbender is a big influence, because every time Aang goes to a community, like as the episode will as often end up about like helping them out as it will about furthering the like central kind of like crew that Aang is with, furthering what they need to do. So in that context, you've come here and there is a big problem you can help them solve, and then there's also little things that are absolutely not a part of your playthrough unless you want them to be, but you can match make Lady Flufflebutt with someone. And then a super final thing, when you were saying that, like, I think you're absolutely right. One of the most interesting things about Los Gatos is that it's a playful thing with like Cat Lady. What if there was an island of cat ladies, right? And there are obviously also kind of our world influences. There are islands of cats in places around the world, which was sort of part of our sort of early thinking as well. But then we also fuse that with the politics and society of the world that we've built, which in this gender trinary, like, doesn't mean that the only women can come here, like non-binary people can come here. It's a place for people who have been victims of like domestic abuse, and the community will always support those people. So there is someone that you can talk to, Vici, who is actually a recent arrival on those terms. And you will sort of get a little sense of that, but I'm not sure that it's even hugely spelled out by us. I think it's just something that we know about the history of the place, and that even in a society that's built more fairly, you are still going to have interpersonal friction, which sometimes people need to be removed from. I'm not trying to minimize domestic like violence there by calling it friction, just to acknowledge that there's a spectrum there, I suppose. Anyway, one thing you can see are these little kind of sparkly, spiky story actions, and they're what we sort of that's how we guide you to the key clues in an area. I might just quickly hit the menu button, which is just going to give you a little tutorial on first playthrough, which explains that stuff I guess I would have explained to you also. Merle's log, it shows you clues to all of those, like if you get to the middle of a chapter and you're not sure what you should be doing, you can always go to Merle's log, and each of those little sparkly clues will also have a hint in the log, and then once you follow them, they'll get a little sort of follow-up here, and it'll also show you who you're looking for. So Stu hasn't said hello to her partner Miguel yet, so you get a little portrait of Miguel there to say you know who you're looking for. And I haven't clicked on any of them yet, actually, which is why there's lots going on. Oh, and we've rubbed out all of the we made a special shader for the demo, so you don't get any spoilers about what happened in the previous chapters.
Awesome. I love that.
We've also got the crew page here, which will tell you about the different sort of characters and what, you know, who they are. Just at the beginning, you might want to remind yourself who people are. But it will also shape and reshape as people do. So when you get to chapter 7, their biographies will read differently, depending on the choices you've made. And then we also have issues. So issues are a feature that sort of represents tensions and conflicts within the crew. And you can create issues and then you can solve them. Sometimes you don't solve them. Sometimes in any group of people, there are going to be tensions which just sort of simmer away in the background forever, or that you just never get around to addressing. So that we call those scuppered. And in the game, so we recently added Sani to the crew. So at the moment, Stu is sort of frustrated about that person having been added. However, if you chose to not take Sani with you, which is something Iris really wanted to do, Iris would have an issue created, which is Iris doesn't think that you're listening to them. So like, it's really like it's not meant to be min-maxed. It's a really like humane way of gesturing to the aliveness of a community of people, essentially. And then can we access? Yeah, we can. All right. I pressed the wrong button. So this is your sticker book. We gave you a sticker book, everyone. So there are lots of different pathways through this story. If you go to different places, you'll meet different people, you'll get different crew members, you'll experience different sort of clues pointing towards that sort of same central mystery. And you'll also make choices about who you explore with. All of those things will help you sort of tread a pathway through the story, which is your own. And as you do so, you collect stickers. So this is like a sticker book which represents everything that you've done in every playthrough. Now, we have a super cool branching save system that allows you to these are all the cats. Like you can only complete feline felicitations if you go to Las Gatas, obviously.
Amazing.
So we've still got 4 more cats to meet. But yeah, part of the save system that we've built allows you to branch your save from any previous chapter as well. So say you play chapter 3 and you want to make a different decision. You want to go to a place called Minta rather than a place called Los Gatos. Then you just simply you select branch this save, and then you'll select the chapter you want to branch it from, and you just start from chapter 3. So it's a way of sort of quickly allowing you to explore the possibility space that we've had such fun building for everyone. Shall we have a conversation with Stu's old friend Anta? Oh, Anta's a dream sailor. Do you want to explain dream sailing?
Dream sailing is a state of consciousness, kind of in Saltsea Chronicles, and it's dream sailing. When you dream sail, you access a realm, and you can navigate it, and you can also find and meet people there on that plane too. And you access it via a deep meditation. The conditions need to be right. You can't just pop a dream sail anywhere you like. You have to get yourself ready and in the zone. And it can be dream sailing can be used for relaxation and recuperation. It's good to go down there and regenerate yourself, but regenerate your energies. But spending too much time on the plane can be very dangerous indeed. So it's one you have to manage. And some people have quite strong reactions to dream sailing. There are people who actively and strongly believe in its benefits and its existence, but then there are others who feel like it's a very weird waste of time. Some of our characters don't understand the benefits of dream sailing. So it's interesting to, as you travel around all the islands in Saltsea, you find varied opinions on dream sailing and its benefits.
I'm just demonstrating our lovely exploration system here, where I just realized we hadn't said hello to Miguel yet, and sort of slowly walking there, I just tapped a button a couple of times. Look how hunky Miguel is as well. I love Miguel. The text is a slightly different font there because they're speaking a different language. They're speaking Esterly, which is the language of the Easterly Isles of the archipelago. But yeah, Stu has recently started getting kind of dream saily visions, right? And like as Sharna said, not everyone can dream sail. It's like we have a saying from the world, which is some people look to the sea and some people look to the sky. And, you know, everyone has something they can offer. But dream sailing is normally a thing that you would discover you had a talent for as a younger person. Stu is, you know, in the autumn of her years and has recently just had a couple of visions, and it's sort of been around a little bit. So we just had a little chat with Anta about that. But yeah, Stu and Miguel are just flirting this whole conversation. Just flirting. Sunny's gonna eventually get a bit embarrassed. Oh, and we're sort of just getting an update here. So we're discovering that, you know, some cats are doing cat things, but we're also discovering there's a moxa, which is a big scary bird which like harasses cats, which doesn't seem to be ideal. So we're gonna go talk to Nikki. And you can do these sparkly clues in any order. They're written in a
Okay.
Well, we did a lot of work to make sure that no matter what order that you do them in, that's still gonna all make sense. Hunky, I added this interjection like real recently, Sean. I don't know if you've even seen this. I was just like, you have this chat with your hunky husband, well, not husband, because marriage doesn't exist in the same way. Your hunky partner, and like, did we even tell Art that Miguel's idol should be doing press ups? I don't know that we did. I think we just described him as, and then that came back, right?
Yeah, I don't think we did, but I love it for us. It's amazing.
And this is like a really good example of the back and forth between art and writing, right? So we describe this place and then they bring it to life so beautifully that we have to add more writing to it. I was like, I need to comment on this. It's I wrote a very thirsty little interjection. I'm sorry. I think I had thrust before I changed it to lunge, and I thought that was a we're gonna lose our everything, oh no, everyone 10 rating if I put the word thrust there, maybe. So yeah, we can look around. Should we have a look at Stu's diving gear? So Stu is primarily like a diver, right? Like, one of the reasons Maya sought her out originally, our missing captain, is that, you know, she does a lot of diving and is a really accomplished diver, and so can reach depths and therefore like discarded technologies from the time before the flood. You know, so but yeah, Sunny's just getting to know Stu, so Sunny doesn't know this yet because Sunny's a recent person who's joined, but she seems sneaky. Taken some, so we should have a different sticker now, actually, because I think every item that you can collect in the game is a sticker. Yeah, there we go. So we just picked up some diving gear. So we don't have an inventory in sort of normal terms. We didn't really want players to be worrying about having enough money and that kind of thing. But you can sometimes give stuff to people, and they sometimes give you stuff, and you can pick it up. So, oh, hi Miguel, you're a sticker. Ah, and you can collect a few dream sailors as you go as well. So, I mean, there are spoilers, I guess, in the sticker book, but hopefully they're the exciting, intriguing kind. So if I didn't know what to do right now, I just hit the menu, go straight to Mel's log. And Stu is additionally excited to catch up with her old friends Nikki and Anta. So just reminding myself that Nikki is the one that I should talk to. I probably shouldn't point out bugs, but our character outlines do have a bug at the moment that will be fixed at time of shipping the game. Sometimes they sort of step out of their outlines, show you that are supposed to show you who's speaking. So sorry, making a video game. Oh yeah, the little so this guy, this little pirate is called People Vondre. I don't know if you want to summarize People Vondre, Sharna.
So the game, is set in a world that's had floods in the past, big floods, catastrophic floods. But we didn't want it to be about pirates. It's not pirates or piracy or horror mateys. But we did think it would be quite interesting and funny to have a character who kind of embodied those characteristics as something to yeah as as something cool, to put it mildly. And so People Vondre, he appears across the game in different islands, and he has the role of explaining concepts to you, but he's actually woven into the story. I'm really tempted to spoil. I'm not going to, but he is woven into the story somewhat. But yes, his name is People Vondre, and we just had a lot of fun with him and that name, and that little tiny piece of like stereotypical piratism. I'm not sure piratism is a word, but it is today.
People Vondre is famous across the archipelago as the person who's produced People Vondre's almanac. So produces issues and reissues of an almanac, which is, not like most people don't move around a ton in this very small kind of collection of communities which have survived and then rebuilt. Their known world is quite small, and People Vondre's almanac tells you about the isles of the archipelago. And so how it works for us in the game is that if you come across a little highlight like this, you can get a nice little prompt, nice little texture, nice little bit of information about what a moxa is. They don't always appear when it would kind of break the effectiveness of the dialogue a little bit. Like Miguel and Stu talk about a moxa, but we don't pop a hyperlink to the People Vondre there because it would ruin their lovely reunion. But here it makes a bit more sense. So, and sometimes those are useful, but sometimes they're just fun little interjections. And some people love People Vondre's almanac, other people think he may have made some of it up. Who knows?
Who knows indeed.
Who knows? Wait, so I think I'm a bit nervous about accidentally ending the demo sooner, but I think that we can go and find out about the moxa. So we've just gone into the radio hut where someone called Smithy, we found out from Nikki, had gone missing. And our Maya's gone missing, and the reason that Sani came aboard is that her sister Mandy has gone missing. So around about chapter 4, you're discovering that there's a lot of strange disappearances happening across the archipelago.
And as you might imagine, radios are important. Radios are important. Radios are a really useful and important device across the game, and for people in the islands. Yeah, I'm so trying not to spoil or say anything. I'm like, tell you things about radios, but yeah, we worked hard to ensure that radio communication was imbued across the islands. And I just wanted to say that we were talking about not to like make you think about the outline of the character again. That was slightly skew, but I just wanted to shout out the lovely art style that the art department had put together. The screen print in Ricegraph. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Ricegraph?
Yeah,
kind of
I say
style.
It's just
Riso, yeah, Riso, yeah. There goes me. I should just keep it to one syllable or two. Riso style, which is really rich and lovely, and it really the levels, the different islands that you go to are so distinct, and each one so beautiful or not beautiful or terrifying or something like that. They're all brilliant. So yeah, I just wanted to shout them out too.
Yeah, I think you can see from this is a really good example. Like one of the big influences on Nils and Angus. Nils is our art director and Angus is our art lead. And very early on in the game, started thinking about like kind of children's picture books from like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, those kind of cutaway style picture books combined with the Riso print style kind of stuff. and also working with Rosanna Wan, Emma Kelly, Rudy. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I can say Rudy's surname. Conch. I actually don't think I've ever heard it said out loud. We don't go on calling ourselves our whole names on the Slack. I'm gonna have to research this afterwards because I'm gonna have to start crediting people out loud now we're promoting the game. So I'm gonna have to learn how to say Rudy's surname. And then we also have some incredible shader work from Ronya as well, to help sort of the print effects. So yeah, brought to life really beautifully. As you saw, I just clicked a little clock, and you may not have seen a clock before in the demo so far. The clock just means that when you do this, time will move forward. So there were some conversations and little observations I hadn't engaged with. And now I've clicked this clock icon, time will move forwards and I won't be able to access them anymore. So it's sort of up to you how much you want to explore. And if you just want to follow those sparkling clues, you can. But you can also... I hope it's still available in the next time of day. We got a card game, everyone. I'm going to show you that after this. Let's deal with this Moxa. What do we need to deal with the Moxa? We're going to get Pluie. That's what we're going to do. I love these time of day change things. And the super cool like fade in and fade out style transitions, kind of like halfway between print and 90s TV, which is a vibe we're definitely going for. Let me see if I can find a card game. But I'm really bad at cards. I'm definitely not one of the lead designers on the card game. There are some cards here. I'm going to chat to Mr. Fussy Paws for a second because I want all my cat stickers. Yeah, so the card game has been led by Ben Wilson. Oh my gosh, so many names that I haven't said out loud before. Ben's I have. Daria and Doug. But Daria, Radu? I'm not actually. I'm gonna have to get everyone to record their names for me and send me like a little library of everyone's pronunciations because I'm gonna start getting worried. Oh no, I clicked off the game. So yeah, Daria, Radu, Ben Wilson, Doug Wilson, not brothers, just happen to have the same surname. And Alexandra Labushka. Labushkaya. I'm going to have to look that up. They sort of started on the card game. Actually, the card game came together via an internship. So two people from ITU, the IT University of Copenhagen, both came to us and asked if, please don't write us 1,000 emails asking for internships because we believe really strongly they should be paid or recompensed accordingly. Denmark has a system whereby the state pays you to be an intern. So it's a little bit different there. We have run internships. They have been paid, or with Denmark, the state has paid them. We couldn't pay them because it would actually break all of their funding from the state. Complicated anyway. But yeah, Alexandra and Daria came to us, and it was just a point in the, like 3.5 year span. There was one single point we could have brought some interns on, and they just came to us at the right time. And we sort of said, well, what are you interested in? And Daria was super interested in AI, and Alexandra, who worked for us for slightly less time as a designer, and they'd be sent to us as like a pair. We were like, well, we've sort of been thinking about one of the things really important to me in narrative design is pacing. And when you're putting the pacing in the hands of the player, you have to provide them with many different ways of engaging with a story in a world. And this is one of the most sat back things that you can do in the game. So you can chase those clues. You can sort of sit with longer conversations and discover the community. You can have a look at those little interjections. But a card game is sort of sitting back from all the words, and it's just a moment to sort of take a breath. And we wanted to offer that so that the player can always find the pacing that they want. And if they want to break from the story and they want to engage with this card game spoils, they can do. I've said all of that, and I'm now going to do a really, really bad job of playing this card game because it was very much led by Ben and Daria and Doug and Alexandra at the beginning, and then became a team of Doug, Daria, and Ben. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to explain this, though. So this is a trick-taking card game. You're going to be playing in a team of 2. So I'm playing with as sort of Stu and Sani, And in the fiction of the world, you sit opposite one another on a table. A trick taking game, because I was entirely new to all this vocabulary, trick taking just means that you play in tricks, which is like everyone plays a card. That's a trick. And taking just means that the person who wins takes the card. And there's some tweaks to the rules, which we'll get to. But when you sort of start off playing, the first card that's played in a trick is going to say what the lead suit is, and that means that you have to play a following suit. So if shells is the suit that's played first in a trick, I have to play a card from the shells in order to be able to win. Now, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen here, cards have both rank and points. So rank is how you win a trick, but points are the things which say whether or not you win the game. So you may win a trick with a queen of shells, because maybe someone started off by playing a 7 of shells, and you play your queen of shells because you know it's going to win the trick, hopefully, if no one's got a king. But it's worth no points. So actually, you're really hoping at that point that your fellow player is putting a ton of points in and that no one's got a king. The last trick of spoils, because this is a world which believes that hoarding is really bad, they believe that the reason the flood happened was the people before hoarded a bunch. There are lots of theories about the flood, but it's one of the major ones is that they were greedy, and they myths of the flood include the fact that they sort of were keeping too much back from nature, and so nature sort of rebelled, right? So in this game, the thesis is that when you take a trick, because you win that trick, you keep 3 cards, but the one that won it goes to the other team. So if I go ahead and win this trick with a jack of shells, I don't get to keep those 11 points. They go to the opposing team, because the winning card always goes to the opposing team, and you keep the 3 remaining cards. So that is that's the trick. You can also we call it a sweeper suit, but I think it's called a trump suit in like human games that we play in our world. So at the very beginning of the game, you can set up a suit which will beat all other suits, and you can choose to play like that. But I'm not going to go too much into it, because if you play the demo, you've got all of these wonderful, rule sheets that will quickly tell you how to play. I did my best. The very, very final rule is that because hoarding is so frowned upon, if anyone ever gets over 100 points, they automatically lose. It's just how it works, because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't hoard wealth or resources. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're bidding for what is going to be the sweeper suit, which is the trump. Am I doing all right, Sharna? Like, you're just sort of looking at me like, yes. So we're...
No, I love spoils, but I love it, but I love how you explain it to me, because sometimes I struggle playing it. I'm like, oh, why did my points go? Why have I lost?
If you're a card game person,
I was
you're gonna love
intently.
And if you're not a card game person, you don't have to play it. Like, this is really like it. Like, whatever kind of player you are, we've hopefully made space for you. What we're doing right now is we're bidding for what is going to be in our world, we'd call it trump suit. In this world, it's called the sweeper suit, and all the points that are laid down will contribute to it. So I've got a lot of shells which are of high rank, so I'd actually quite like shells to be the super suit, but it's points that count. So I haven't got any high scoring, so maybe I should go with anchors. Yeah, okay. I will put in 10 points for anchors. And no matter what team you're from, you can bid towards a suit. So that's 0 points towards anchors from one of our opponents. Sunny didn't. So, well, maybe that was bad, and Sunny doesn't have cards that help. So I shouldn't have done that. Let's find out. Okay. So we've got a definite winning card from the opposing team, so we can't beat this. So I think that the main thing is to keep points out of it. Sani, what are you doing? What are you doing, Sani? Sani, come on. I know that you're meant to be a herbo, but like maybe I've misunderstood the rules as well. No, it's definitely gonna be. All right, I'm just gonna put 0 points in because the winning card is. Oh yeah, I hope you're sorry. Thanks. Sometimes the AI does funny stuff as well as like clever stuff, and that's part of the design, I'm gonna say. All right. Let's have a play. Oh, and another thing I should say is that each community has its own house rules as well. So as you go to different communities, they'll play spoils slightly differently, and you'll be able to sort of get a different version of the game, very slightly different. Oh no, did my controller stop working? Oh, okay. All right, what's going on here? So we're winning. So I'm going to put some points in. 2, 4. There we go. Not well, okay, we're still losing. That was not 0. Not 0. Okay. Okay, what's Sunny doing? So it's definitely gonna win. We're playing fishes. I don't have any fishes. What was it was anchors, which was the ooh, wait.
Yeah, it was anchors.
Anchors is the trump suit. So the highest ranking trump could trump everything, but if I played these 10 points, it might go to... All right, Sunny, calm down. I'm thinking.
So eager. Damn, Sunny.
I think I have to play the 4 and to get the most points into our coffers. Oh, no, shit. God, I score. No, because that's the trump suit. So, of course, it wins. So I should have played nothing. Oh, my God. So bad at the game. All right. We got 2 points. They got 15 total. We've got 6 total. I might just give up. Sharna, what do you think I should do? Where should I start? Should I just play a winning card and hope Sunny's got some shells?
Yeah, go on. Risk it.
Put this king down. Yes. Trust in Sunny. That's what I need to do. Need to trust in Sunny. We're winning now. Or maybe Sharna. I need to trust in Sharna. All right, Sharna, this is your game now. What are we doing?
Oh, okay. We are going to go. What do you think?
Well, I just played a lot of shells.
Yeah, the queen. Queen?
Let's try and win.
Oh,
because the king had already gone out, so it's definitely going to be... Yeah, sometimes the barks, I think I took care of most of the barks for the card game, so they're very often, oh hey, we just got a bunch of points. Well done, Sunny. The AI for this game is clearly smarter than me. Or possibly both of us put together.
Both of us.
All right, should we trust in Sunny again and chuck 10 points on the table and see if she can get us?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna keep clicking through a little bit faster now because I feel like we should. You can spend much happy time playing spoils. Essentially, hey, we won a hand. We're actually not doing super badly, and
yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it would be for us. We're doing good. Sunny is our savior.
Sunny is definitely helping. Maybe all those long hours not being very good at anything meant that Sunny played a bunch of spoils on Saltsea, the community she's from. Well, we don't want to get too close to 100, but we can't now, I don't think. So we're doing all right. So every like full game of spoils, I think, is three rounds. We just played a round 1, so you'll play 3 rounds. I may just sort of move us on because I think you've had a taste of it there. And so I'm going to pretend I don't know very clearly what's happening here and go to the log and remind myself. Smithy's gone missing. There's a Moxa causing trouble. Nikki suggested the expedition party should return later in the day to harvest Pluie. That's probably what's happening. But actually, we just got this little hand symbol, and that's like a little kind of... Sometimes the world has its own agency as well, and will sort of... A thing will happen to you, or one of the characters will do something and start a conversation, and the player won't have chosen to do it, but it was important that the player or the world could sort of, someone could run up to you and say something, or one of the characters will pause the expedition and say, just hold on a second, I've got a question. And here... this is where Sani is going to sort of... What's with Vici? Like, that was just a slightly odd conversation. And we discover a quite, dark thing here. That Vici killed her partner in self-defense. And our world, like one of the big first pillars that I think I stuck on the metaphorical wall of our virtual office was no cops. And that instantly meant that we had to come up with different means of like how communities would think of justice and and deal with members of the community who do wrong or do harm, perhaps is a better way of putting it. I really want to shout out Josie Giles, who has an incredible brain with regards to a lot of kind of transformative justice kind of politics and stuff, and really helped inform some of our thinking around this stuff. And again, just coming back to this general philosophy of just because a world is different and doesn't contain some of the crappy bits of our world doesn't mean that it's a utopia. And that this world has different ways of dealing with harm and people who cause harm, but they're still not good at it sometimes. There's a whole system of guides whose job it is to take care of the sort of health and well-being of the archipelago, but they can't always deal with stuff, and they'll sometimes send people who need to go somewhere that they won't be found. They'll get sent to Los Gatos by the guides, but you'll discover later on that sometimes the systems of accountability and transformation don't work, or that sometimes people can be broken by communities in ways which aren't as obvious but still do harm. Some of the themes of our games, people. I don't know, Sharna, if you have anything you want to add to that.
No, I guess I just wanted to add that I think it's really important that what attracted me to working on it with you was the fact that it wasn't a utopia, and yes, there were some quite meaty things that we were working out, and we did think in those early months of development, really, and Josie absolutely was at the forefront of that, but really digging it down into what it means, what is harm, and what happens if you do harm in your community, and what is how do you pay someone back, and it was really important questions we were delving into there.
This point at which you can't rewrite a model for a better society, and you have to just get on with making a game. But there were certainly conversations that we had which were like, okay, no cops, cool, but what do we do if someone does harm, and what does accountability look like, and would everyone agree that it looked the same? There's an earlier chapter where you can visit a particular island, which is the main island that the guides have pastoral duties. There's a guide on every island in every community, usually, but they also have like a main place where people go to seek sort of help and support and refuge and sanctuary, and they mark people who have passed, and you might meet a character there who's done something extremely terrible, and that Molpe actually would have a really bad problem with, like they're just walking around and gardening, which is actually how you find them. But I'm training off a bit there because I realized I was just like massively spoiling it all, because it's just hard, isn't it, Sharna, to talk about this stuff without...
It's very hard because the communities are so connected, although they're not, but the story is and really does take you across all the islands. So I want to be like, oh, and if you go here, oh, you could, the choice is episode.
Not long,
No,
not
no,
long.
I don't, but I won't.
Yeah, not long until it comes out after the Steam Next Fest demo, I hope. But look out for announcements from Die Gute Fabrik on our various social media accounts, which I guess I should probably actually plug. We're at Gute Fabrik on most things like Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and those kinds of things, which is GUTEFABRIK. It's actually Nils, who founded the studio, who is German. The game means the good factory in German. And I took over the reins in 2019, and I do my best to sort of live up to the idea that you could make things in a way that isn't bad. I'm not going to say good, because good is not a product, it is a process, it is a path of least harm, etc., etc. All right, should we have a look at this nesting boxer? We've collected some pluie.
Yeah.
We had to wait until midday because it's bad to pick the pluie earlier than that. We sort of found out about the problem. This is nothing to do with our sort of main quest, but we are also uncovering clues about our main quest as we do so. So that's useful. And we're pretty towards the end of the demo here. I like that line. There's a point at which I just have no idea who wrote what. I just remember the things that I personally sort of, sprinkled in my sort of script editing process. But yeah, the way that we worked as a writer's room by the time we were just writing is that Sharna would have produced that place document which described the place in loads of detail, and then there'd be a key series of plot beats that we'd know about, and then Sharna, you'd fill that out with a bunch of ideas for encounters during times of day, which then would get handed over to Storytech, who would make it in our Ink Unity system. They'd set it up so that when the writers went in to write, they just wrote. They didn't have to worry about any sort of tech and stuff, and they just sort of wrote. All of that, I guess I'm explaining because I don't know who wrote "Fires like a cat, treat it respect, and it'll keep you cozy. Treat it carelessly, and it'll bite you." I think it's just a great line. That's just a great gosh darn line.
It really is good. It's really good.
And one of the things, again, I had a sticker which said no cops, but there was also another sticker which said really, really good character driven dialogue. And the fact that Stu, very often will use sort of cat like or cat metaphor, in the ways that she speaks, I think is just quite natural, and also means that her voice stands out differently to others, which is just really important in terms of quality of writing. IMO. All right, so we're I should have done the curse actually, because you can choose to give it a prayer or a curse, and Sunny gives it a nice thing, but actually I think Stu's curse is really funny. I paid more attention there, but there we go. We're smoking it out. I love this printing in style that the art department came up with. Ooh. There it is. There it goes. We didn't hurt it. We just needed it out of the way because it was hurting others. No Moxes were harmed in the making of this demo for Saltsea Chronicles. That is where the demo ends. I don't think we got a chance to fix them up, but you can fix up Lady Flufflebutt and Mr. Fussy Paws. It doesn't change the end of the game, doesn't change anything else in the game. It's just a nice thing you can do for some two lonely cats. Come on. Why would you not want to?
Yeah, why would you not?
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I hope that everyone, that you've had a nice bit of time just listening us to chat. We very quickly gave up on the idea that we would voice over anything, which I think was best for all concerned.
Right choice.
Yeah,
the right choice.
But do have a play of the demo, which is the sort of first couple of times of day from Los Gatos, which is chapter 4 in the full game Saltsea Chronicles. You can wish list us right now. I should have been saying this several times throughout. I'm sorry. I'm going to just edit this and add every now and then a kind of wish list us now banner or something, because I did a bad job of saying it out loud. Wish list us on Steam so you can hear about when we release it, which is not too far away from when we will be sharing this demo, we hope. A huge shout out to everyone involved in making the game. While there have been about 15 to 20 core team members, there have been lots of people who've come in and out of the process at different points. And please do check out the credits when they come out. As I said, we're people from around 12 different countries, and I don't want to do everyone the disservice of mispronouncing their surnames. So I'm actually going to now go away and ask everyone to record their surname for me. So I've got a little library I can practice with. Otherwise, the things to note is that you would have continued to explore a couple more times a day on Las Gotas before returning to the boat, telling people what you discovered there, and deciding what to do with the information that you've uncovered and where to go next. And that would have been a whole chapter. And then you would have moved on to a new location. Sharna, thank you so much for your company. It's been really great to have someone to chat to. Is there anything that you want to add that you think that we've missed?
I've got a lot to add. I just think it was a brilliant experience working on the game, and to see it come to fruition in this demo is actually astounding. Even though I think I'm that close to it, to see it like this is absolutely brilliant, and I'm thrilled. And yes, please add it to your wish lists. Absolutely do. And I'm looking forward to telling you more about it, or for you to play.
Exciting.
Oh gosh, really exciting.
All right, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching our stream. I've been Hannah Nicklin. This has been Sharna Jackson, and we together are two of the people involved in making Saltsea Chronicles by Die Gute Fabrik. Wishlist is on Steam. Follow us on socials at Gute Fabrik, and we can't wait to hear what you think of the game. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.